Hey guys, what's up? It's Fern. Thank you so much for joining me for another Planty video. So today we are going to be talking and kind of like comparing my fastest growing Hoya versus my slowest growing Hoya. I have a handful of Hoya in my collection that just seem like nearly impossible for me to grow. They just sit at the same size. And then I also have at the other end of the spectrum tons of super fast growing Hoya. So I'm just going to show you, I've picked 4 of each, so I'm going to be showing you 8 Hoya in total. I also just want to say that there are several different factors that affect Hoya growth rate. I do think that some species in particular are just going to be a bit slower growers or a bit faster of growers, but there's also like multiple things that affect how quickly your Hoya is going to grow. And some of those are age, like how established your Hoya is, because I find that some of my larger plants just grow at a much more rapid pace than my smaller ones. For example, my Hoya compacta, which is typically known as being quite a slow Hoya to grow, is one of my fastest growing Hoya right now. And I'm not including it on the fast growing Hoya list just because I know it's because I've had it for several years and it's just really established. So sometimes it really does just depend like how rooted and just like ready to go your plant is. Sometimes they start off really slow and then they take off. It's also going to depend on things like light, humidity, the substrate that it's in. Like there's so many different factors. So take all of the plants on my list with a grain of salt. It is just my growing experience in my home. But I do really think that it's like a pretty fair assessment for the fast and the slow ones that I have on my list. So yeah, I just thought it would be a bit of a fun video to do, so I hope that you enjoy. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the slow ones, and then we'll do the fast ones after that. This is quite interesting because 3 of the 4 slowest Hoyas in my collection live in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, so they should be getting like really great conditions and they should be taking off, but they are not, which is why they are on this list. Okay, so the first one, I have to start off with the literal slowest plant in my whole collection, and if you've been here for a while, then you probably already know what it is. Yes, my friends, it is my variegated Hoya compacta. Oh my goodness. I've had this for 3 years and it basically looks the same as when I got it. I will insert a photo, I'm sure I can find one, or footage or something, but it's almost comical how slowly this plant grows. Like I cannot even explain to you, like it is a snail's pace. It gives me a new leaf. Like I honestly feel like I only get a couple new leaves a year and I keep waiting for this to get established and, you know, get going. And it still has not happened. I can see right now there is a small little leaf coming in right there. So perhaps we will turn a corner sometime soon, but honestly my hopes are not high. I love this plant so much and all I want is a long variegated Hoya compacta. It's one of my favorite plants. I'm obsessed with my green one. If I could grow this one to be that size, I would be so freaking happy. I don't know if this is just a case of like poor genetics, because sometimes plants are just like that, like you just don't get a great specimen, which I've had a lot of people comment that they think that's the case with my Monstera constellation, which it possibly is. But yeah, I don't know what is going on here. Like I said, it lives in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. It's lived in there for a long time now, like a year and a half since I got this cabinet. It's lived in there. So I don't really know what to do. Like, if anyone has any suggestions, leave them down below. I know people have commented that it's in too big of a pot, but if that were the case, like I feel like after 3 years the roots would have filled up in here, you know what I'm saying? And it's not that big, like it's a 4-inch. I put tons of Hoya. I pot pretty much all my Hoya into these 4-inch pots and they take off. Like if they're gonna take off, they'll take off. Like I don't find, it's not like this is like an 8-inch pot or something, you know what I mean? Like, was it probably a little bit too big for me to pot this plant into? Yes, but big enough for it to like not grow for 3 years? No, I don't think so. So I don't know. I mean, I could repot it into something smaller or just like repot it for fun, just to give it like a fresh soil mix. This is definitely a soil mix that was like from before I was doing my own with the orchid bark and everything. So maybe I should repot this just for fun and we can look at the roots and everything. yeah, I might do that. But anyways, obviously I've just hung on to this throughout the years because I love it so much, even though it grows so slowly. Yeah, I don't know. Should I move it outside of the cabinet? Should I repot it? Let me know your thoughts down below. Okay. Let's go with another very slow growing Hoya, since I've had it at least. This is my Hoya chicken farm, which is absolutely gorgeous. Like, look at these massive leaves. This is like as big as my hand almost. So freaking pretty. I love this plant so much. We have another leaf here, a bit of a smaller one. So I have had this for right around a year, and I have not gotten a new leaf yet. These are the leaves that it came with, and I was so excited to grow this, and I've just been like waiting for that new leaf to come in because, well, look at the size of them, like massive, so stunning. Yeah, so I have been waiting. Again, it's potted in a 4-inch, maybe that's just my mistake, I don't know, but look at the roots. There's literally roots there. So I don't know if it's just because it's a bigger leafed Hoya, so it takes some extra time to kind of get established, and then it's gonna take off for me one day. I don't know. And I've had people say, put this on a trellis. This leans up against the pegboard in the back of the cabinet, so I feel like if it wanted something to climb, like it would kind of sense that as like being a support, because that's what Hoyas do. They just kind of find something and try to climb up it, but nothing. So I don't think that it's because it doesn't have anything to climb. I don't know why this doesn't want to grow for me. It's honestly going to be such an exciting day when this plant gives me a new leaf. I cannot wait for that. It's going to be so cool. It looks like we almost have like a little, it's hard to tell, but there might be a little growth point starting in here, which is very exciting if it is. I mean, only time will tell. But yeah, I don't know. Just taking its sweet time, but I'm really excited to have this put out a new leaf, and I'm really excited for this to bloom one day because these have really cute little blooms. So yeah, if you have one, let me know if yours is also a slow grower or if it's just mine. Like, the only thing I can think of is just because it has such big leaves, and perhaps it just has to put so much energy into leaf growth that it makes sure it's really established first. I don't really know, but regardless, love this plant, even though it has not grown for me in a year. Okay, next, this is also a plant that I keep in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, and I've had this for about a year as well. Actually, maybe longer for this one, maybe longer. But this is my Hoya verticillata. I think it's verticillata. For the longest time I said verticillata, and then I heard other people saying verticillata, so I guess that is the way. But this is the variegated version, as you can see, and this is such a gorgeous Hoya. I really do love this a lot, but it has only given me, I think, maybe two or three leaves since I've had it, and those came out last summer, so we're coming up to a year here of no growth, which is strange to me because it lives in the IKEA greenhouse cabinet, so it gets really good humidity, really good light all year round. I'm not sure why it just like stopped growing for me. Maybe it's a heat thing, although it's not really cold in there, so I don't know. I did give it this trellis, as you can see, which is very cute, but I kind of thought it was gonna keep growing, and I was really excited to like trellis it, but no, I literally have not gotten any new growth on this since the summer, so I'm just patiently waiting. Yeah, I don't really know. I love this Hoya for the variegation though. Like, it has such beautiful leaves. I love like this painted looking variegation. It's just gorgeous. I'm not really bothered that this one doesn't grow. I think that it's going to have a growth spurt this summer, so we shall see if I'm right. But yeah, oh, there's also some roots coming out the bottom of this one as well. So, you know, it's got a good root system, and hopefully it's just a matter of time before we explode with growth. Okay, so the last slow Hoya on this list is one that does not live in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. This lives in my bedroom, and this is my Hoya Chelsea, which I love so much. Like, seeing full baskets of Hoya Chelsea is just like, it's amazing. I know that y'all in the US can find like full baskets of these at Lowe's and stuff, and I'm so jealous because I think that that's just so gorgeous, and at this rate it's going to take me a very long time to get to that point. But yeah, I've had this for about 1.5 years now. These were the original leaves, which everybody argued with me was not Hoya Chelsea, but then it put out leaves that actually look like Hoya Chelsea, and people were like, okay, it must be. And it didn't really do anything for several months, and now I am getting a little bit of new growth, but it really did take such a long time. And I've heard other people say that their Hoya Chelsea are slow as well, so I don't know if it's a case of mine just being like a smaller plant. Like I said, sometimes when you have large ones, they grow really rapidly. So I'm sure maybe if you have one of those like large hanging baskets of them, perhaps yours gives you a lot of new growth just because it's more mature and established. So that totally could be the case with this. I'm not necessarily thinking that this is always a slow growing Hoya. I suspect that it could be a fast growing Hoya. Yeah, I really love this one regardless. I love how dark the new growth comes in. Like, it's so pretty. I will probably propagate this sometime this year and then repot it in just to, you know, start getting a fuller kind of basket. It's like in a little tiny pot. But yeah, I don't know, in my experience it's just been very slow to get going and to grow and to kind of get established. It's taking its sweet time. I don't really mind too much with this one, honestly, but yeah, I will be excited for when it hopefully becomes more established and grows a little bit more quickly for me. Okay, so those are all the slow ones. Now let's jump into my fastest growing Hoya. Okay, so for my fastest growing Hoya, like I said, I have some of my larger Hoyas that are definitely like the fastest growing in my collection, like my compacta, my Hoya Crimson Queen, which is a very large plant, very established, so she's just like pushing out growth most of the time. But other than those, oh, also honorable mention to Hoya Bella. I do not have one in my collection anymore. Well, I have the variegated ones, but the green one, that thing grows like a beast. Yeah, mine grew like so fast. It was kind of crazy. So that would definitely be included in my like top fastest growing Hoya. I just don't have one to show you right now. And my variegated ones, unfortunately, are not growing at the same speed. Anyways, I'm gonna start with the one that I was most surprised with it being a fast grower, and that is my Hoya, oh gosh, what is this? Heuschkeliana variegata. And oh my goodness, you guys, okay, I got this less than 1 year ago. I got it last summer. I did a haul, I think, and this was a small plant, like a small plant. And I know I've said this before. I think I've shown this recently actually, but I cannot not put it in this video because I was honestly shocked at how quickly this grows considering how highly variegated it is. A lot of the times when plants have a lot of variegation, they tend to be slower growers, but this one, no. She grows so quickly, like she always has new growth in multiple areas. You can see the new growth comes in that like pink color. She has new growth there and on the bottom here and up here. Like, it's just constant. Yeah, such an incredible Hoya to have and to grow in my home. I have no idea why she's growing so fast. Like, it must just be a fast growing Hoya because I treat this the same as I do my other Hoya. Again, in that 4-inch pot, terracotta pot situation, just like the others. But this one just grows like a beast. I don't know what it is. She lives in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet and she's very happy in there. Although honestly, she's gonna have to come out like one day because she's gonna be hitting pretty much the bottom of the cabinet with her, how long she's growing her vines. But oh my goodness, this Hoya, like if you are wanting to get a new Hoya, this is the one that you need to get. It is just so good. Like, it's first of all just so pretty, like that painted variegation. I know I've gone on about this Hoya before, I know, but I'm just honestly shook by it and how pink the new leaves come in. Like, it's just so pretty and easy and yeah, fast growing. It's perfect. Yeah, she's just living her best life and I was honestly shocked at how quickly this plant has grown for me. So yeah, Hoya Heuschkeliana variegata definitely has to be the first one on my list. Okay, the second one on my list, I've grown in a variety of different conditions and it has always been a fast grower for me, always pushing out new leaves. And that is my Hoya linearis here, this little cutie. Mine is a bit of scraggly mess. I'm actually propagating it to create a fuller pot. But honestly, you guys, this plant is always growing, and look, you can see that fuzzy little new growth on the end there. Let's see if I can show you better. It's so cute. Look at that. I don't even know if it's focused, but it's so stinking cute. There's new growth over here as well. It just loves growing. It will shoot out like new little offshoots, and yeah, this thing just grows like a beast, honestly, and it's such a cool Hoya. This will always be one of my favorites. This was one of the first like rare plants that I really wanted, and then I got one, and yeah, it just grows so fast. The leaves are fuzzy and cute. If you have not seen one of these in person, you have to see one. They're just so special, and I feel like they were really hyped up a few years ago, and now I don't see them as much anymore, but I love them just as much, if not more, than I did a few years ago. Yeah, they're a classic. Honestly, I feel like everyone needs one in their collection, especially if you like trailing plants. And I just wanted to give you guys an update on the propagations, because we took these propagations together in one of my last videos. Now, it's only been a couple of weeks, but Hoya linearis is so easy to propagate. We already have roots happening, and I don't even have this in a high light spot. I have it in the very back of my bedroom, so this gets low light, I would say, and it's still rooting up. So I'm very impressed with that. I've never had a problem propagating this plant. It's always just been like a dream. You can see it has roots up here. It has roots along the whole stem, basically. Hoyas have like nodes everywhere, so they can really just like root from all kinds of places. It's quite something. Yeah, it's just such an easy going and easy growing and fast growing Hoya that I can highly recommend. There's not a time that I look at this Hoya when there's not new growth happening, especially when you have multiple vines going. Yeah, it's so special, and I really do kind of regret chopping mine and propping and selling so many times, because I've had this for coming up to 2 years now, I think, and I'd probably have a quite massive plant if I hadn't done that, but I was just constantly propagating and like selling cuttings and stuff, which I don't do anymore, so now I'm really focusing on filling that pot out. Anyways, fantastic Hoya, I love it so much. Next, this is actually another one of my favorites. Of course, all of the Hoyas I have pretty much right now are my favorites. But this is my Hoya Mathilde, and oh my goodness, when I tell you this thing grows like a beast, this has grown like a beast since the moment I got it. I'm serious. I got it as a small cutting. I don't know if I'll be able to find a photo, but if I can, I will put it up here. But I got this as just a small cutting. And it rooted up super quickly, immediately started growing, and now this is where I am with this plant. I have taken a couple of cuttings from this, but it grows so quickly, you guys. Like, there's always new growth happening on this. You can see there is new growth right there. There is also new growth right here. Yeah, so cute. Also, so many peduncles. I haven't had this Hoya bloom yet. I think it might bloom for me this year, because I just have so many peduncles. I'm like, come on, like one of y'all has to bloom for me. Like, if you look closely, like if you look at this plant, there's just peduncles everywhere. There's probably like 20 peduncles on here. I'm not even kidding. Not only has this Hoya just been extremely fast growing for me, it's been extremely easy care. I've grown it in a variety of different conditions. Yeah, very tolerant, very fast growing. Hoya Mathilde is a cross of Hoya carnosa and Hoya serpens, and carnosa is very hardy, very quick growing Hoya, and serpens. I actually find that my serpens is quite fast growing as well. I did include it in this video because I feel like I haven't like had enough experience with it yet to really say whether it's like particularly fast or slow, but it does grow really well for me, so it doesn't surprise me that this hybrid is a really great grower and just like a really hardy plant. This needs to like be wrapped around again. She is just, yeah, I recently had to upgrade her to this round trellis that I made, so that's why it's not perfect, and it's also like being pulled to this side because this side's so much heavier. But yeah, I had to upgrade her trellis because she just grows so fast. definitely a very easy to grow, fast growing Hoya. And I will let y'all know if she blooms for me this year. My fingers are very much crossed. Okay, now for the last fast-growing Hoya in my collection that I'm going to talk about today. This is my Hoya walliniana UT152, and as you can see, I have it in this hanging basket situation. Now, I got this plant like, I'm pretty sure less than a year ago, and just immediately it grew so much and so quickly. I got it in the same order as some of those other slow Hoyas I showed you, I'm pretty sure. So that just shows you, like, it used to be a very small plant and it's just completely exploded with growth. It kind of stopped growing over the winter, which is understandable, especially because I had it hanging from my bed, so it wasn't getting like a ton of light. But this is a new leaf that it just gave me, so it's definitely waking up for the spring. These can sun stress really nicely if you keep them in high light. Mine is not under super high light right now, so it's just like a dark green, but it's still splashy and pretty. And yeah, I was just shocked at how quickly this grows. I've actually taken propagations from it. I traded some of this plant. So yeah, even it's been less than a year, it's grown into a full like hanging plant. Plus I've taken propagations, plus it bloomed for me in the fall, and I could not believe it just because I had only had it for like, I don't know, a few months or several months at that point. So yeah, definitely just a beast of a Hoya, really. Grows like a weed for me, especially in the cabinet. I don't have it in the cabinet anymore, but I did, and it was just like, it took over the cabinet. I had to take it out. It grew so quickly. So yeah, definitely a cool Hoya if you're looking for something that is fast growing. You want like a trailing basket, you want to bloom. Yeah, this is just like a really cool one and more unique. You don't see them all the time. Also, the blooms were just adorable on this. So yeah, just a really great Hoya. I love it very much. It looks really pretty if you do sun stress it. It gets more prominent like veining. Can you see on these ones? You can see some of that veining. That really comes out and the whole leaf just like darkens up if you sun stress it. So maybe this year, maybe I'll try to sun stress it during the summer because it's just so pretty. Alright, so that is going to be it. I hope that you enjoyed talking about these Hoya with me. I really enjoyed this video. I'd love to make more like this, so definitely give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your slowest and fastest growing Hoya are. I would love to chat with you. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!